So now that you bought a camera, the handheld video pro, the 1.5 inch camera, it's a great camera. It's versatile. I'm going to do an informal and walkthrough of all the features and everything that this camera comes with. So let's get started. So this is the camera itself. When you get it, it's going to have a protective layer, which you can take off, and that protects the screen. Now, one thing you got to know about this camera is that it's really easy to use, and it's just simple to use. But one of the most important things of using this camera is that whenever you're using the cable, it rides in this little clip that's right here. So now once it's in the clip, if it's not in the clip, this thing's going to unravel and it's going to give you a lot of heartache. It also has a break right here. So if you get to something you're looking at in the pipe, you could put it in there, you could break it. Now this wheel won't turn, the head will stay right where it is. I'll get into the head in a minute. But once the brake is off and we're riding through this clip, we could take out as much and send it into the pipe, and then we could retract as much. As long as it's riding in that clip, everything is going to be fine. It's going to be workable. Every time you want it to not turn, you just turn this little brake right here, this pin, this thumb wheel, and it's going to lock it into position. So when you're out in bright lights, when you're out, if it's real sunny out, it has this screen protector, this sunscreen, which will literally shade the screen so that when it's sunny, you're in sunny conditions, you could see what's going on in the screen because it's going to give you a little bit of shade. So now let's get into the camera head. So when we ship it out, it typically has this dust cap, which you don't need to put back on. It's not necessary. However, what is necessary, and I'm going to point it up close, is that there's a little black gasket on the end of the camera head where it screws in. We give you a couple of extra gaskets that are in the bag that come in the camera as well. It's always important. It's the most important. Otherwise, you're going to damage this head, and you can also damage the cable extension if you don't have that little gasket, that little O-ring on. And it's real simple to put on. All you have to do is put it in, turn it, get it hand tight, and now this thing is on. It's ready to go. It's ready to make those turns, no problem. One of the other things is the guide. So it's important to have the guide in your box. It comes with the tool to lock down the guide, and putting the guide on is really easy. So you just locate it exactly where you want and tighten it down. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you is if you're using the dye injector, which I'm going to show you in 1 second, let me just get this tight, is if you're using the dye injector, you can literally set the dye injector in between this and this, so where it's sticking out a little bit over the camera head. And that's what this looks like right here. So let me show you. This is the dye injection tube that comes with it, and it comes with a bunch of dyes. So when you want to hook up the dye to it, you just unscrew the safety cap off the dye, and you just literally push it in, and now the dye is ready to use. You could actually see some of it coming down into the tube right there. Again, when you're wanting to put this other end into it, so we don't use the dye injector with the camera when we're just using the camera. If we put our camera up a pipe and we see something and it's underwater and we want to see if it's pulling any dye, that's when we hook up our dye injector and put it back on. So again, we'll put our dye injector, we'll hang it out over a little bit. We will put our head back on, we will pop it in, and then we will just literally tighten it down. Now you're using your dye injector. So now that we're done with that, we're also going to show you that it comes with 2 types of drives. It has a USB drive, and then it has this card slot drive, 8 gig that it comes with. Remember, everything you do on this camera is fully recordable. So you could record everything you need to do. It has a date and time stamp on there. I'm going to fire it up right now and show you all of that. But the USB drive is right here. That's where the port is. And then the card port is literally right there. And in a minute, I'm going to fire it up and show you how to go through just some of the functions that we have, including we have a meter that tells you how far back you are in the line. This also has a sound head built in, and if you look on our other videos, we show you how to pair up. Again, there's no pairing. We're just showing you how to actually use the scanner to always be able to find this sound head under deep conditions, under really serious depths, and under concrete, under asphalt, under any kind of material. So again, these come with it. And remember, putting that gasket on with the camera head. We covered the sunshade. We covered the dye injector. Now let's get into some of the functions. Let's discuss some of the features, some of the recording features. To turn it on and off is just real easy. You just hold this button, push this button, and that will turn the unit on. Give it a second. It's powering up. It's going to tell you welcome, and it's literally going to turn it on. Now, once you turn it on, the sonde head is always on. So in other words, is if you have the locator, if it has an L right here that tells you that there's a sonde built in, if you look, you can see that L stamped into the camera head. So if you have that locator head on, that sonde is always on. You could always take your scanner and locate where it is. So when you go in, I mean, once you turn it on and you have your camera head on, it's going to give you your battery percentage. It's going to have your date. It's going to have your timestamp. And when you start recording and doing whatever you want to do, that's what it has. So I'm just going to pop this memory card in that comes with it. I'm going to put it in over here so that we could just walk through some of the steps of the actual recording. So again, put it in till it clicks, and now you're good to go. So the storage card, it told you that it is installed. So now if I'm in and I just want to record, all I have to do is hit record. And now it's telling me that it is recording, and it's recording everything that I'm doing. So again, wipe my hand over it, whatever it is. You could always go to stop. You could stop recording. You could do it by hitting that. You could always play it back right then and there. There are many things you could do. You could also take still photos of it by just hitting the camera button while you're going. That's going to take a still photo of anything you want to see. Remember, this is voice recording, so be careful what you're saying in front of at a customer's house. Make sure you're not saying anything about the customer. It's not nice. I have made that mistake. I was talking and saying things that didn't belong on a recording, didn't realize it was audio in there. So just be careful of what you send. That being said, then we have a menu button, and the menu button is going to take you through all the options. So in order to scroll through the options, so this is the filming, those are the files. These are going to take you to some of the files. These are going to take you to some of the camera functions, the video functions. This is going to take you into some of the settings, and it's going to allow you to do that. You could always go back by hitting the escape button, and that's going to take you back to whatever screen you were at previously. Again, to record, just hit that. Now here's the meter to feet. So this is always going to tell you how far in the pipe you are. So let me just do a little demo of that. So right now we're at 0 meters, but as we use it, we're 0.03 meters, but we can convert that to 1.1 feet. So whether you're using it in meters or you're using it in feet, most guys in the United States will use it in the foot position. Watch what happens as you recoil. It comes back to 0, and you know that you're back to where you begin. That's at the very beginning. It's good to always know how many feet you are back in a pipe. However, when you're using the scanner, it doesn't really matter. So again, escape button will bring you back to the previous. You can control your displays and your lighting and your magnification. This camera has many things. It has a lot of different things that you could offer. Again, start taking it out, playing with it. You're not going to make any mistakes with it. The most vital, important thing is, again, always having that little black gasket on when using it. Otherwise, you're going to cause some water damage in the head and the cable. If you break a cable, send it back. Sometimes we could fix them. It depends on where you broke them. We can replace them. It's not the biggest deal in the world. Just you don't want to keep breaking them. You could be pretty rough with this camera. It could take pretty much of a beating. Again, you break a cable. You have any problems, you have any issues, always give us a call. Our customer service is always here to help. So now that I showed you the mechanics of it, I showed you the functions of it, one other thing I wanted to show you is the actual charging of it. So we're plugged into the wall right there. And what you want to do is come to the back of the unit right here and plug it in. Once you're plugged in, this thing should usually take about an hour to an hour and a half of a full charge. A full charge should give you about 4.5 hours of running and using time on it as well. Again, as I showed you in the function, it has the charger. It has their charge, your battery percentage that's up in the screen. so that you always know where you're at. You should charge this thing. You know, I wouldn't have to charge it every time I use it, but always keep your eye on that battery percentage. If you do start getting low, give it a full charge. When you're done, you could wrap your charger up. And one other thing I wanted to discuss real quick is everything has a home in this kit. So when we're done using our camera head, we could put our dust cover back on and we could put our cap back on, and that has a home in the case that we pop it right in there. This unit will sit here. Before we do that, we could pop our screen cover off and that will drop in. So again, everything has a place where it could go. Pop everything back in. Your dye injector has a place, your memory cards, your extra gaskets, everything has a home so that you can pack it up tightly, lock it up, put it in the back of your truck, and take it out to the next job. For more information, visit Leaktronics.com and always check out our YouTube channel.